Oh, of course this is the wrong display. Son of a bitch. Hey! Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
Welcome.
Chad.
Welcome to the first and best episode of Julian's Coffee Hour at this wonderful early morning time that I am not prepared for. How about you, Earnings? How you feeling this morning?
Definitely earlier than I'm normally up, but I'm excited to hang out with Chat. How was Chat's day, Chat? You guys have a good day?
We're already getting hit with Titanic flutes.
Oh boy, I've already been
If
bonked.
this is perfect, this is perfect. We've been bonked, applauded, and Titanic flutes all this morning. Hey, what's up, DGG fam? Clarston, what's going on? Matari, what's going on? Pre-made, how we doing? Chad, let's go. Go Solthos, what's shaking bacon? How we doing? You were right, it is earnings. Yeah, you know, it was a super special surprise. Super special surprise that was.
I might have cheated Nathan a little bit last night.
Yeah, you know, it's fine. I mean, who cares? It's all about fun and enjoyment. So how can we really be upset about it? I'm glad you're here, earnings. Then you can spend the morning with us drinking coffee. Do you have your coffee with you?
I actually was about to crack my coffee, so I'm alive.
Oh, excellent. Perfect. I've got mine right here. It's currently steeping right now, but it will take another couple minutes, I believe. But while we're at it, earnings, how are you doing this morning? What's on your mind when you woke up this morning?
I'm pretty good. I have to go pick up my parents from the airport.
Oh, really?
Luckily, they are all good. They got stuck in Mexico because of that hurricane that just went through.
Oh, God. Jeez.
So that was kind of crazy. They got to have that marked off the bucket list.
Get
But
stuck in Mexico during a hurricane? Is that a popular one people put on their bucket list? Like, you know, I really want this to happen. Of all things, I would love to be stuck.
I think it was just the hurricane that was the bucket list.
Oh man, just be in a hurricane, yes. You know, that wouldn't be bad.
Well,
It's felt like a
yeah.
hurricane here for numerous days. It's been raining non-stop. I mean, I'm pretty far away from Mexico, but you know, I don't know how big this hurricane was or anything about it, to be honest. What do you know, earnings? Give us the scoop. You know everything about hurricanes, don't you?
No.
Oh, okay.
To be honest.
Oh God. Was it a massive hurricane?
What the hurricane?
I have no idea, to be honest, Ghosts. I'm not really sure.
I know that the winds were like over 60 miles an hour, but
Wow.
I don't know exactly what was going on, how bad they got.
Yeah. So who freaking knows, man? All the way down there, it's one of those things. Up here in New York, and we don't really see a lot of hurricanes. That's mostly more of the southern U.S. sort of thing. Makes sense why it's down there. So for me personally, I don't see any of that kind of stuff. I mean, we get like big rains and we're like, oh man, it's monsoon season because it's raining like crazy, which is in our minds is like, you know, maybe a few inches of rain in a day. But beyond
I was gonna
that,
say, we have nothing.
yeah, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad up here. So with that. What's up, everybody? Now that we've got a good group of people hanging out with us right now, I'd like to get this started off. Earnings, you know, for the people who aren't necessarily for the people who haven't been in our community for a long time, what is it that you do? What do you do around here? What do you do with your life around here? What makes you the person that you are?
Well, let's see, what do I do? I kind of do everything on the back end. I kind of keep Dynamite leveled off. Dynamite has
he needs a little bit of that once in a while, right?
Yeah. Dynamite has the great ability of coming up with amazing ideas, but sometimes he becomes so caught up in the idea that he lets it take over instead of the reality that he's in.
Well,
So
it's almost like part of his name, right? I mean, he's dynamite. He explodes. He explodes
it's
with this
explosive,
powerful
yeah.
idea and this energy, and you just have to come in, Mr. Earnings Island, and be like, okay, hold on a minute.
Yep, for sure. So, I'd say that's more of my role is just kind of balancing Dynamite out. He and I have talked, and the goal is for him to kind of be the face more and deal with more of the public stuff, while I deal with more of the back end stuff, just because that's easier for everybody involved. So,
Sure. Everyone has a role to play, and that totally makes sense and fitting for both of you, to be honest. You've always
yes,
been
the
good
right
with those.
hand.
The right hand, yes. And the lead community member there, Dynamite Gaming, of course.
Yeah.
Very
And
good.
I also run the Twitter, so I try and keep that going the best I can. But I don't spam tweets quite like Dynamite does. So.
He does. I love recently. He put in the Twitter bot, and it's just
Oh my goodness.
so
you
many,
can
so many
tell.
tweets all down, and it's all of him. It's all of him and Yexu going back and forth tweeting. And I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
Jesus.
it's a bit much sometimes,
You
but
know, it's all fine. We're having, it's good. It definitely engages the community to have someone that's so interactive with their Twitter and the entire community. So it's definitely a benefit rather than something that hinders us for real.
for sure.
And having you sitting in the back line and sort of making this the reality that it is definitely is definitely keeping us alive for sure. I mean, we can talk as much as we want, but if we don't have someone who can actually do the hard work, it would be a lot more difficult to get by.
For sure. Ted, I saw your question in chat. Do we get heated? Dynamite is very calm-natured. He will never get heated, pretty much, unless you're being malicious.
Unless you're
And
Mr.
when I say
Axie.
malicious, you're... yeah, you're being a creep, or... you're taking advantage of the community. That can look like multiple different things, but that's really the only way he gets mad. I can get heated, but you just have to get me on the wrong day at the wrong time. I mean,
You have to kill him in
I won't
Minecraft
lie
a few
to
times,
you,
and then he'll
but-
finally get heated.
Oh, bro, dude.
You spam kill him in Minecraft, it's over.
No.
You're done.
The 48-hour stream will test the patience, chat.
We'll be tired. We'll be juiced up on coffee. We'll be killing each other on Minecraft. It'll be a time. There might be a lot of yelling involved. We'll see how it goes, you know?
Yeah,
This is a good
for
question
sure.
that we that kind of flows a little bit better than the ones I have. How did DGG get started, Ty?
So DGG actually got started off as a more or less side project for another group called the One Up.
Timing. Yes.
Nani?
Yeah, he nani right when you said that. That was so good. Oh, I love it.
But the owner over at One Up didn't get anything done for probably about 4 or 5 months after Promise Me like the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been 2 or 3 months since that, and he still hasn't really gotten much done. So
Is that person
not
even a
too
part of
worried about
this
it.
project anymore? I mean, what's
it's,
the goal with
that's
that
One
person?
Up. It's his name is Horace. So.
Okay.
And he just at some point decided to just like remove Dynamite and I from his admin group in One Up.
Mm-hmm.
And so Dynamite and I were just like, what are we doing here? And so he and I just did DGG and
Started your own thing.
said forget One Up. Because Horace is, in my opinion, he portrays himself to be a community member, but he
Sure.
tends to be out for the dollar at the end of the day if you look at his actions.
Sure. When it comes to actions, he's much more money driven than really community focused.
Right, yeah. The only thing that actually made him upset was when we started to get to a point where we were making progress towards making sponsorships and
Hmm.
actually creating money for ourselves through DGG when he hadn't done anything with 1UP.
Right. So he's jealous of your success that you instantly
Yes,
that
that's
you
pretty
started to
much
generate.
what I would say DGG started off that.
Wonderful. That's great. That's very cool. Another follow-up question for that is more related to why is it not called Earnings Gaming Guild? That's a Soltos question. Feel free to enlighten us, Earnings. Why isn't your name on this title?
Why is it not called Egg?
Why is it not called Egg? Come on, man. I mean, this is such a pressing thing. Like, oh, you could be the head of it all.
I mean, I think to be fair, Dynamite does have a good presence.
Of course.
And he is kind of more of I'd say he's more like willing to spread out and socialize with everybody more willingly, regardless of like ties or what's going on a day-to-day basis. Like, I might be more willing to favor the DGG fam, whereas he's kind of more willing to just like talk to everybody, but like that's also why he's connected to people like Geos, you know? Like,
Absolutely. Yeah, every time I've spoken to Dynamite, and had seen what he's posted on Twitter, and seen his actions done, it really shows that he's out there for everybody and not just the people who are in the guild and have committed to this movement. More or less just anyone in the Axie community and beyond, NFT community, so on and so forth. We see connections with him, so it's very cool and very impressive to me as someone who doesn't have necessarily those incredible social skills to be able to connect with this many people at once. And overall, it's just so impressive. It really is so impressive.
yes, for sure. No, I totally agree with that 100%. I don't think that Egg would have been the correct move.
While it would be really funny to call yourself Egg, it might not be the right way it goes. It's definitely the way we have it. The way it's set up now is definitely good, and the movement itself is good. So Earnings, are you also a manager, player, creator in our community as well? I know we've talked a lot about just your role behind the scenes, but what else do you do?
I actually am all of those. So
It's crazy how I knew all those things.
I'm a cheater. I have 18 scholars right now, and I'll be bumping it up to 20 probably this weekend if I can help it.
Bravo, 20 scholars. That's impressive.
Yeah, so that's a good place to be. That's pretty. Got me pretty happy.
There it is.
Thank you, Sothos, for the applause. I feel it. I was focused on land items for a while. I have accumulated over 300, rare land items. So,
and what got you so interested in the land project?
So the land project, the concern for me is the fact that the land items aren't going to be able to be reproduced. If you compare it to an axie.
Sure. Yeah.
The supply cap of it is, more or less unlimited versus, very hard supply. So it's one of those things where if land pops off, I think land items follow suit.
Absolutely.
And right now they're very undervalued.
I mean, from where you bought it a long time ago, right? You've already turned a ridiculous amount of profit.
Yeah, I mean, if I average it out with the stuff that I bought closer to market, it's probably, an average of double to triple on most of the stuff I've bought.
There you are.
So I'm very happy.
And Daza has a question. Can you go into how the land items are limited?
The land items aren't going to be able to be crafted or created or anything of that nature.
So essentially, once the land has been minted, it is there, and that is it, and there is only one owner per land item.
Correct. So the land items can still be transferred in the land too. So
Mm-hmm.
the big thing is, though, I saw in chat, is land unlimited. We've already sold 1/4 of the land.
Mm.
So those land chests that were sold came with land items then. But there's not going to be any way to craft land items inside the game. The only way more land items would be introduced is through the next chest sale, and that's not even guaranteed.
Oh, so it's not even guaranteed they will ever make more.
Right.
I see. Well, that's very interesting, and you know, if that is the case, then you are sitting very pretty in your in where you are, huh?
That's why I was like, I'm gonna scoop up 300 of these land items while I can, and
I cannot.
you
have
sit
300
and
of
wait
the,
for.
you have 300 of the items, right? The various items. How many of the actual land plots do you own?
I have 2 Arctic plots. They're not the most juicy plots, but
Sure, but it's still something out
it's
there.
a land, you know? Yeah.
I mean, what was the floor a few weeks ago? Like over $5,000 for something like
Yeah,
that?
I got them for like 2K, and I think it's like 18 to 20K minimum
Okay,
right
wow.
now.
So it's really up there.
Yeah, but like to be honest, I don't think that's like just a starting part. Like if land slips too much more, it almost gets to being another buying opportunity. I mean, if we think about the value that AXS is going to have long term,
Absolutely.
I mean, land is literally an AXS earning device.
Is that the point of it? Is that what they had mentioned, that it was going to be a way that
You're
going
going
to
to be able to
generate
earn a
AXS?
few things, but the main focus is AXS from what most of the speculation has been.
Interesting. Okay, well that's fantastic. A way to get people more AXS and a way to get that AXS coin used, actually. Besides axie breeding, of course, which has been its own special bit of fun.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a centerpiece, so it'll be interesting to see how they can work it. It'll be interesting to see how staking in the decks, kind of play into everything.
I know
and
we're all really excited for Ronin decks.
everybody's like, SOP to AXS.
It'll be so fantastic to be able to not have to go through 30 steps to do anything. I mean, I talk to you about getting AXS, and people go to the coin swaps for AXS, and it's just a royal pain in the ass.
Yep.
And it always has been. Solthos has a question. Do you think land prices will go down once they release the other 75% of plots?
So when they release, they'll probably release in another like 25% batch. And I don't think they're gonna be dropping for anytime soon. So I'm not too worried about it. And then when they do drop the land chest, they're gonna drop them at floor price.
Oh, at the original.
No, not
okay,
original.
at
Current floor price.
Current floor price, sure.
So it kinda is going to devalue what's there, but if they include any items or anything, if you think about it, it's really gonna probably not devalue the market too much.
Sure, that makes sense.
It's about how they decide to go about it as developers.
Interesting. That is very interesting. The whole NFT project, many NFT projects like this and concepts always blow my mind at how they manage to pull this stuff off, and it truly is fantastic. It's a crazy movement for our day and age, and it's really interesting to just keep up with. There's so much that goes on, and alongside that, what got you so interested in the Axie project, Earnings?
And NFTs, huh? An axie specifically?
Yeah, NFTs, Axie. Where did you get your start?
Well, I stumbled upon an Elijah video. I think everybody knows an Elijah video.
Everybody knows an Elijah video. Sure.
I unfortunately learned the hard way. When you buy the axies recommended in the videos, you are 90% of the time buying, after the fact of a whole bunch of people coming in and buying the market,
right.
Raising the prices way up,
doing the exact same thing that you were hoping to do. Yes, absolutely. It's just a matter of who gets there first.
But kind of learned the hard way. Got my axies, got in, started earning some SOP, realized just how big this could be.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, by I'd say April I was going, and then I mean, yeah, beginning of May I was meeting with you and showing you this. So
This is true.
it's crazy. It's been a 3-month journey, but it hasn't been long for you either.
Yeah, no, not really. When did you say you got started? When did you buy your first axies?
March.
March. Okay. Wow. It's not been too long. Just almost a little
5
bit before the
months.
start of the summer.
Yeah, about half a year almost now. We're
was-
coming in on.
What was the cost of your axies when you bought them?
Oh, brother.
If you got a rough estimate, nothing.
You
You
know,
don't have
see,
to.
that's a hard.
Actually,
that's a hard question.
I need it to the exact numbers. I need it 0.12, ETH. I need 4 decimals.
Will it show in my inventory if I go over to the Axie?
God, I mean, I would imagine. Probably.
I paid March 19th. I paid 0.242 for this bird that's
0.242?
near the bottom. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I paid more.
You paid so much.
Yeah.
God
Axie
damn.
prices have gone down.
Compared to that?
But if you
Jesus.
think about the earning potential that I've had over the X amount of months,
Absolutely.
it doesn't even matter. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing I tell most people is, like, get your money out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you buy a team, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to have that team paid off in a couple of months.
Absolutely. ETH was worth way less than, though. Yeah, that's also true. Solthos makes a good point there. ETH was worth a bit less back in March than it was now, where it's up to like 3,300 or something like that. I don't know, but it's been floating
I don't
around
know,
there.
as I say, it just fluctuates. I just try and get more ETH. I don't pay attention to the price
Yeah,
too much.
I mean, when you're in this sort of thing and you're just constantly moving between ETH and other things, there's not really much you can do about it. I mean, you're gonna buy it either way. Even if it's $100 more than it was yesterday, it's just you're gonna end up buying it. Oh, earnings. This is an important question that I know a lot of people have asked me, and I don't know the answer to this. So this may be more you and Dinah focused. Is what are the plans for the grind hard badge holders? And this is the current grind hard badge holders and those of which who have who don't have the badge, but they have enough coins to purchase the badge, but now it's worth over 500,000. Yeah.
So the reason that the ticket prices got jacked up is because we got backlogged. Somebody, Dinah, somebody, I've had the conversation. He needs to stop lowering the ticket price too much, but he lowered it and he made it so that you could gift tickets. And so for a second there, we had too many tickets getting bought up, and we had our grind hard roll all the way up to like 450.
Wow, that's a lot.
Right. So we've cut that down. We've got it to about half as many people.
Mm-hmm.
But we're trying to cut down to where there's like under 100 grind hard before we lower that ticket price at all. Just because we're not really trying to add more people to the grind hard rule until the people who have already been waiting for weeks, some of them,
Absolutely.
get their scholarship taken care of.
Right, because that grind hard badge is sort of like it's proof that you've done what you need to do, and now you're worthy of getting this grind hard badge, or you're getting your scholarship from whatever manager it may be, yourself, Rambo, me, whatever. It's then becomes sort of pointless if we have over 200 people who have this badge and none of them are getting scholarships.
Right. So that's why we've cut down on letting people in. I think on average we've been taking care of 10 to 20 people a day. So I think hopefully a week, 2 max, the ticket prices go back down. Hopefully.
Absolutely, and yeah, and you've heard it here, folks. So hopefully, as you know, I mean, I've told you similar things before. That once these grind hards get taken care of, it will become a thing where we'll be accepting more of them. But right now, as it stands, it's still going to stay up at 500,000. So no purchases of the grind hard badge will be made. But once these things calm down, once there are fewer grind hards in our pool of people we have to fill this responsibility to, it will return to some price. Earnings, you know what approximately that price would be?
I don't want to say any numbers just yet.
Okay.
I do know it'll come down substantially, but I don't expect for it to come down all at once. I expect that we will slowly move it down just to try and kind of help slowly make sure the grind hard rule fills up and doesn't just, go from us working it down to 0 to being back up to 300 again overnight.
In the next day, yeah, right?
Right, exactly.
We managed to make all this progress and then completely reverse it in a matter of 24 hours. Oh,
Exactly.
that's
We
how you
wanna
make
avoid
change, right? That's how you make change. Okay, yeah, that makes sense, and I think everyone can respect that. That as somebody who's trying to run a business essentially here, it is not the easiest thing to manage when you have this sort of backlog.
Well, and I think that people don't like realize how much demand there is for scholarships sometimes.
Even
I
if
mean,
you,
a lot of people have been waiting for, weeks already, if not months.
if not months, even,
And yeah, so it's not like any scholar should feel like any other scholar is getting prioritized over them. I think it's just that there's literally so many scholars that sometimes it becomes a bit overwhelming for us managers.
Mm-hmm.
And so the grind hard rule is really just the best way to kind of help everybody have a system that's fair.
Absolutely, it definitely makes it easier for a lot of people to see the future, see their own future a little bit more, and kind of understand how they can reach that goal rather than just hoping.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sothos, I don't go by daddy. I just want to clear that up while we're here.
honestly, the whole daddy sir boss thing, and I'll get back to the axie thing. I had a comment on that. But man, I don't know about you, but being called sir is one of maybe the most uncomfortable feelings that I have ever felt from people online. I mean, in person, maybe I would understand something. I'm a young person, and I don't believe I should be called sir. I don't know how you feel about this,
Well, I
but
think that's the difference with Axie between like your normal average world. I mean, if you think about it, you're still a manager in a sense.
absolutely, yeah, no,
If I were to work with a normal manager in the normal world, I would call them sir too. Like I don't think anything of it. I have some call me sir, I have some call me mayor, I have some call me manager, I have some
Sure.
call me boss.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't. I always tell them I'm a friend and that I don't care what they use, whatever makes them comfortable,
Sure, I understand
as
that.
long as that isn't hey shithead
Hey, shit. I need my payout right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe don't hit me with that, but otherwise we're doing good.
Understandable,
So,
as long as they're comfortable talking to you. Yeah, I always try to drive home the point of we are friends at the end of the day, and I'm here to support you. But I don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't mind if you just call me Julian. I really wouldn't mind. Pops, it is.
I'm fine with pops.
Pops is all right. Oh, it is what it is, And back to the topic of the Axie Infinity and the absolute demand for scholarships. If you want to even look into the line of, how much demand there is for Axie scholarships, you can open up the official Axie Discord server and go through their scholarship pages and see how quickly people post these long-ass scholarship resumes. I mean, these aren't your typical 140-character Twitter resumes. I mean, these ones are like the longer ones that they found somewhere along the lines from some organization, Axie Scholars, whatever, ... And these are just being posted over and over and over again by so many different people, and there is just so much demand for this. So really, separating it into DGG, separating it into Loot Squad, separating it into everyone else who does this sort of thing and runs these programs, it's really making it easier overall than just having you sit there and spam us on Twitter and or spam in the Axie Infinity official server. all in all, this is making things better, and it is giving you more of an opportunity. But there are still these times where we, like right now, where we're filling back all of these grind hard members, and there are times where it seems slower than it is. But we should be appreciative for what we have, because definitely this is an improvement from just the general overall posting in the general community.
Yeah, for sure. Everything takes time to build. And we've had, some kind of pop-up roadblocks and some humps.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we're still learning. If we hadn't made the ticket prices quite so low that one time, it wouldn't be an issue now.
It was about 30,000, wasn't it, at one point?
I think that's how low it was. Yeah, I think it got set down to 30, and you could gift them to people.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's similar to what Loot Squad had done there for a while for Bryce's pay to watch, or no,
well, except for the pay to
thing.
watch, I was to say the earn to watch is different in the sense that, in my opinion,
Go on.
I don't know. I think you're going to get hit with a lot of bots. And I think you could still get hit with a lot of bots through our Discord system.
Sure, you could always
But
have
in
them
Earn
that
the
just
Watch,
spam, but
yeah, I mean, I can just create Twitch after Twitch after Twitch after Twitch, and then just leave it sitting there. 30,000 channel points takes a while to build up.
Yeah, but it's, 30,000 channel points, it depends on how many he gives per hour. Or for minutes of watching. I don't know. It's every Twitch affiliate can do it a different way. Mine personally is the average for all of Twitch is approximately 250 per hour. So if we do the math on that, that's 30,000 over 250. That's only 120 hours of content. And
if you think most people probably sub and sit there and hit the little bonus points, so for most people it's probably under 100 hours.
Even that, yeah. So when you hit those bonus points, you're getting that extra 50 every however many minutes, 15, 20 minutes. So it's definitely easier than what we have, but I feel like the quality of our members and their commitment is definitely higher than that you'll find over at Loot Squad.
Well, and the other thing that I really appreciate about DGG is I feel like we have a very solid community. I've added a few scholars, and I will say that the more that I add from Grindhard, the more that my personal earnings chat, continues to grow.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that aspect, is the ability that's the community has to connect.
Absolutely. And for those who aren't like myself, I'm not super the most comfortable stepping out into these very large groups, because it's hard to make a name for yourself and hard to present yourself when you're faced with a chat of fucking 4,000 people. So it's way easier when we can create these smaller communities inside of DGG. I think it gives more people to express themselves and really be themselves on a more personal level as we build these smaller communities. Because I know my people who I've recruited to Jaw are very funny. They're very enjoyable to be around. I love talking to them, and when I get to talk to them in our personal chat, it just becomes such a personal bonding experience with them that it's just fantastic.
Yeah.
And of course, Spotify decided, hey, I'm gonna stop the music because you're on a call. But I've been on a call for the last 40 minutes, so I'm not really sure why it decided that now. That's fine. Oh man.
Lina and Bryce are not on one team ever, but they still are very well connected. We love Bryce. All of that wasn't bad.
Of course,
I'm not digging on his, watch to earn by any means. Everybody has their own system. He's obviously created a lot of growth.
Absolutely.
And the other advantage is as soon as he has his scholars in, I'm sure he sends them into a Discord where I'm sure they connect. So
Absolutely.
I'm not oblivious to the fact that he has that. I'm just pointing out the fact that DGG has a nice system. That's all.
Absolutely. We all have our methodologies for doing these things, and if he feels that it's worthwhile doing it that way, it totally is. I know a lot of his scholars love his program, and there is definitely nothing wrong with that, and we totally respect him and appreciate what he's doing for the community as well. We just take it in a different direction.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody's got their own little thing, and I think that's part of what helps all the little groups to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if, a group doesn't have that and doesn't have some reason for the community to stay, that a lot of the time the scholars, try and get their own teams or keep looking for another scholarship even,
Absolutely. When we don't provide them something that's really worthwhile, I mean, people will get into the realm of starting multi-accounts and things that we don't want to do. So we try to keep the people engaged, and we try to make sure that our program is flawless. And of course, it can't be flawless, but we are damn well trying our best to make this an enjoyable experience for everyone. That's why we have our content creators. That's why we have Earnings doing all this hard work every day to make this thing as good as it is, and we're all appreciative for all of that. I do want to ask Solthos' question because that is something I had an interest in as well. So, Earnings, are you interested in any other big NFT projects that are coming up soon? And what other projects are you supporting now, if any?
So I'm currently waiting here for the 31st.
Mm-hmm.
The Ember Sword is going to be huge in my opinion. I think that will be big, and then I'm just continuing to kind of look around. I'm not a huge fan of Gala games, which I know a lot of people are. I think Crypto Blades is a scam. If you're in it, get out. I looked at the DeFi pet stuff, but then they got hacked. I'm out on that.
Yep.
I mean, that's the issue, right? It's like what has solid foundation and can compare to Axie Infinity, and other than Ember Sword, I'm still just waiting and watching for that solid foundation to form a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Everybody's pumping these Kongs lately, but if you know how pumps work, in a week or two, when nobody's talking about Kongs, these prices are gonna go back down. It's like the Mystics. The Mystic Axie's pumped up to like over 30 ETH, and
then
I think they're dropping again slightly.
You get to the point where it's like, is this actually worth anything? Is my time worth anything? Like, what am I gaining from this? It's similar to the big NFT trade. I mean, you gotta catch these things when they're hot and people want them, and I see it all the time on Twitter, in NFT Twitter space. It's just like, oh, somebody offered me 50 ETH for my Kong, but I'm not gonna take it. Don't worry about it. And I feel like they're gonna regret those kind of decisions eventually. I mean, some investors play it smart and they know exactly when to pull it out, of course, but others, they're like, no, I'm not gonna accept this. But and then this whole wave is gonna die down, and people are gonna be like, I'll take what I can get at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, if the Kongs make it long term, then
absolutely.
Who knows? And that's the issue is it's where you're willing to risk the money. If I got offered 50 ETH for any Kong, let alone any Axie, I'm probably taking it.
Yep, probably. I mean, how much is that? That's fucking over $100,000. Yeah,
that's a house. Like
you invest that $100,000.
22-year-old, Yeah, I'm taking the money and running.
If you invested that $100,000 that you earned off your Kong, I mean, you throw that in even just like any bit risky bank account or investment account, and you'd have more money than you'd need for a while. So, this isn't like it wouldn't be a bad step. But I mean, everyone plays it a little differently. I mean, there are some of those NFT traders who have made so much fucking money off of turning around JPEGs. So it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how it all works, and it's something that really fascinates me personally. And I mean, I don't know about yourself. It's something that really is just so interesting.
It's definitely, yeah, big deal.
Yeah. How do you feel about the game Big Time?
I have seen it. I remember looking at the website, but I don't remember seeing anything crazy.
Mm-hmm. I believe.
But I don't remember 100%. I remember the Voxies I was out for now, but it could maybe grow into something at some point.
Yeah, the Voxies I've seen a little bit about. What do you know about that project?
They cost too much for me to be interested.
What's their floor right now to get in over there, you know?
But that's all it is for me.
I understand. Yeah, if it's too expensive, you just have to say nope. All right, next one.
Well, it's not even always too expensive. It's just like, yeah.
The creators of Big Time are big companies. That does give you a little bit more of a. It's like,
yeah, when I was just checking again to make sure I was thinking of the right thing, and they have the people from like Fortnite, God of War, Gears
yeah.
of War.
It does give you a
Modern
little bit more
Warfare.
assurance, like they're gonna make something that's good. But I mean, do they know anything about the crypto sort of NFT space? Are they gonna be able to institute that properly? I think that's more important.
0.35.
It's pretty high. What do you get for 0.35? You just get one of the Voxies.
Yeah.
That seems like so much. And you're like, I mean, who knows if it's gonna go up? That's still a lot. I mean, 0.35 ETH is, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that just wasn't the correct conversion. That's like, it's $50,000. No, and that's over $1,000 for one of these things. So who knows? For a cheaper floor one, yeah. And I mean, I've seen a few things. One of the projects that I'm interested right now is the new project that Kentazi Studios is putting out. The sort of like these like rockets that go
The moon.
to the moons. Yeah. Have you heard anything about that movement? I know they're drawing for one of the lotteries. This is the whole lottery system with the moons. I hear they're drawing for that reasonably soon.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. I get a little careful getting mixed up into too many non-utility based NFTs.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, you know, we already talked about the CryptoPunks being hard to move after or not the CryptoPunks, the CyberKongs, sorry.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, the CyberKongs being harder to move once the hype is gone. Try moving, you know, some smaller person's art.
Absolutely.
And no discredit to Kentasi. I mean, obviously he does great art.
Yes, and I love the Axie Life project. It's
yeah.
beautiful.
You're just buying that NFT to keep more. You're not really buying that to move it. And so I personally am not to that point in my life where I have money to just spend on NFTs.
And hope for the best, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I like that project, though, interests me. The Moon project. I'm not sure what they're calling it. I totally blanked on
forget what
that.
it's called.
But that project interests me because it does seem like it's this first step towards an almost crypto-based lottery. I don't know how they're necessary. I mean, I assume eventually they'll be funding this project with for the rewards is going to be from the purchases of each of the moons. I know right now they haven't moved a whole bunch of volume. I think there are only, I looked it up this morning, it's only about 12 or so moons, or sorry, 12 or so rockets have been purchased, which unlock each one individual moon with it. So I'm not really sure if a lot has been moved. I'm not sure how much they can really give back towards this. If you do win the lottery, I'm not sure what the rewards will be. None of that really information has been all that well communicated just yet. But I am interested in the project overall, and it is something that has I mean, for what it is right now, the floor isn't too bad. I mean, you're dropping maybe $100 for this, but again, I support Kentazi Studios, and I think it's a really great thing that they're sort of leaning into, trying to get on that train of the lottery. And I think if people continue to swap these and sort of keep buying into that project, there may be more chance for its growth, of course. But we'll see. We'll totally see if that happens to go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big supporter of all the NFT artists for sure, and I think there's room for a lot of NFTs. It's just, yeah, it's a matter of seeing, what goes off, and I definitely am excited to see how his Moon project does too. I've seen it on Twitter, so.
Absolutely. And the one thing with NFTs is, I mean, some people are able to turn this massive profit. I mean, you are able to be offered 50 ETH for your CyberCon that you'll eventually turn down. But the thing is that if someone's winning like that, somebody somewhere is losing money on this same vein.
For sure.
So,
I see just as many people saying every day, I'm not selling, as, the amount of people saying, I've lost all my money and I don't know what I'm going to do.
I put all my money into NFTs and now I have nothing but a bunch of JPEGs that have some sort of number attached to them.
Yep.
What's your ideal NFT game, Earnings? This is sort of out of more left field, but I mean, besides Axie, I know this is working out. If you get a studio to make an NFT game, what would be the ideal game for you?
I personally do love the idea. I've seen a couple of sports games making a little bit of rumblings.
Ooh.
And I have always, loved the Chell and the FIFA kind of marketplace
Absolutely.
transaction. So, it'll be interesting to see what comes, but I could see a couple of interesting sports games come along.
It's like those ones where they let you unlock the characters. Those could be their own NFT almost.
Yeah, I could see those being huge, especially if you get it out to the market in the right way.
Absolutely. Any market who supports sort of like a sports thing. I know in the U.S. sports are just beyond so important.
Yeah.
Every other person you talk to are like, hey, what sports team do you like? XYZ, this sport, this
Yeah.
sport, this sport. And for someone like me who knows little to nothing about sports, that is a trip and a half. But
I'd say that's kind of the big untapped market right now. I think a lot of people are trying to copy Axie.
Absolutely. Without looking a little bit more into the future.
Not even like NBA Top Shot. I'm thinking of more like, like a mobile app where you get a character, and they start off, say at, age 18 and they have no experience, and then the more matches they play, they level up, and
you better
have the stadiums that you can trade, and
you better start this idea, Erning. They're gonna eat up your idea right now.
Oh no, somebody's already. That's what I'm saying. Like, somebody's already gonna get this to market. It's only a matter of time.
Sure, before this comes to fruition.
But that's what I'm waiting and watching for, because I do see, especially big global sports like your soccer, your basketball. They're gonna really pop off, in my opinion, especially if the NFT community takes to it.
Absolutely. It would be a hell of a movement. I know a lot of people like those sports, and that only adds another layer. I mean, it's very similar to in that regard, it's very similar to the things they like, all the fantasy football and things like that.
Yeah.
The fantasy leagues. I mean, it gives you another opportunity to make some money off of this, even if you're not.
But that's the real thing.
It's
real money. You could say, hey, this is FIFA, to all the people playing FIFA, except for you can actually earn real money.
Absolutely.
And I think that's huge. I think that's more or less what Axie Infinity is. It's hey, this is Pokemon,
but you can earn money.
Yeah, no, for real though. Like,
absolutely, it was the one thing Pokemon was missing all those years ago, and still to this day. The opportunity.
Everybody loves Pokemon, but people love Axie a whole lot more. It seems like
it does seem like that, and it seems like it's something that is giving people some hope to change their outcome. I mean, you can play Pokemon all you want, but you're not gonna move anywhere in life if you're not like Pokemon professional for the rest of your life. I don't know how many people really can hold that title.
Yeah, I mean, you would pretty much have to like stream Pokemon, but then you would literally have to live Pokemon 24/7. I don't know
Absolutely.
how enjoyable that would really be.
Is Axie referenced by Pokemon? I'm not 100% earnings. I'm not
I
sure.
don't know whether they got Axie from Pokemon. That's just the main reference I would think most people would compare it to in your
Sure.
general non-NFT
Absolutely.
market.
I mean, they have similarities, but they also have a lot of differences. I mean, Pokemon is the games, sure, they're turn-based. This is turn-based. The cards, they have cards. They're not cards. I mean, there are similarities, but in all reality, the games play pretty much completely differently. In
They're
all
very
respects.
different, but you can run so many similarities at the same time. You know, you
Absolutely.
got the four moves, you
Hmm.
got, only three of them. I know they're all on the field at the same time, and that it's
Sure.
cards, and the energy is a little different, but I mean, at the same time, it's just a basic battle concept, I think.
Sure. It's like any turn-based game. I mean, I play a lot of
Yeah.
those on stream, and I mean, you can compare those to Pokemon too, and it's just that turn-based style of combat. I mean, you compare that to like Paper Mario, which brought in a turn-based combat system, and it's really, and with moves and with like ability juice or whatever. I mean, your SP, your energy, your anything,
Yeah.
anything that gives you that ability to use those cards. I think in Pokemon it's called PP. So all of that stuff. It's just it comes together, and all these games sort of kind of piggyback on each other more or less.
He did say PP. Yeah, it's a
I'm-
matter of like trying to make sure your game's unique enough you're not called out for copying somebody, I think is the big thing. I mean, um, you kind of try and piggyback off the ideas that are already working and make them a little bit better,
Absolutely.
I think, as a game developer.
Without just changing the graphics and calling it good.
Yeah, more or less sports games. But um, I think Axie's gonna be to answer your question. Saint asked, how long will Axie be around? I think nobody can predict that answer.
Absolutely.
I think anybody who pretends to predict that answer is a fool.
Has no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know if your government's gonna be around tomorrow. To be honest with you, you hope it
And
is.
we have seen that firsthand
Yeah,
over
but
here in
like,
the U.S. Many times.
you
Oh
just
man.
you just kind of you gotta roll with it each day. Pay attention to the market. If the market's starting to slide, is it sliding because of a little down cycle, or is it actually crashing and you need to get out? I mean, you just kind of have to pay attention. But I don't foresee it crashing anytime soon. I think land play is coming. I think mobile free to play is coming. Uh, I think Dex is coming. I think Stake is coming. I see all of these pieces.
Hmm.
I don't see Axie going anywhere anytime soon.
Absolutely, and I totally
Um,
agree with you on that. I think as we continue to make these movements in Axie, it's still going to grow. And I mean, um, their developer there, if I knew how to pronounce his name, my life would be a lot better. But
Eos.
yeah, there you go, perfect. I think as he mentioned, he actually tweeted something that wasn't sort of almost as much propaganda as it usually is, in my opinion. So one of the things he tweeted that really made me think about it was there's a much lower chance that Axie just falls out of nowhere than there was maybe a year and a half ago when this project was more or less getting off the ground. Right now, the longer something like this, longer games like this start to sort of stay in the mainstream, the longer that they're going to last overall. It's much more likely that a new game just completely falls out
Yeah.
than a game that has sort of like grown in this way. The longer it's, what I'm trying to say is, the longer that it stays moving forward, the longer it will move forward in the long term as well. That's a lot of words put together, but all in all,
Short of them doing something to make the game crash,
yes, it would have to be absolutely awful.
the game would have a decline phase for sure. So there's more and more people coming in every day.
Mm-hmm.
I hear more and more people in the U.S. coming up with it. You know, I heard one of my college's buddies' friends was just starting. You know, it's really just starting to pick up, I think. So, I don't worry about it.
Yep, and I think we're in a good place. We're still early to this movement, and there's a lot
Well,
to come.
had a good question.
Sure.
And you can answer this one first. Do you think AAA studios will start going the NFT route?
I think well, you know, I didn't think this like maybe month or two ago. I wasn't honestly sure where this sort of project was. If with Axie it was going to be sort of like a one-off thing, like where this is the big rage, NFTs, da 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 da. We're going to see this little bit of growth, but then that's going to be like it. Eventually, it's going to just stomp itself out. But now that I think people are starting to see potential with this, I mean, more studios like those ones who are doing Fortnite, like the ones who are doing those other games for big time, I think they're going to start saying, hey, I mean, it's like with anything. It's like with the government. It's like with anything. Things are going to be like, oh, well, we shouldn't invest in it yet because it's too big of a risk for our big studio, our big government, XYZ. We don't want to go for it just yet because, I don't know, it's too much risk. But I think once we start to see more growth in these projects, Axie, big time, everything, once more studios who have more of a founding take this first step, others are instantly going to jump on the bandwagon. I mean, even with regular games. We saw it when Minecraft first came out. I reference this all the time because it's such a true story. When Minecraft came out, it was slow to start, and people were like, oh, block game that you can do stuff. Okay, cool, whatever. But then, like, you know, it got this bit of movement. It became part of the mainstream, and people were like, oh shit, that's really popular. And you instantly saw these big groups were like, okay, we need to jump on that immediately. Let's make a bunch of block-based, create your own world sort of games. And well, I mean, to be honest, the rest of them all sucked in comparison, but it still showed that these studios eventually decided, hey, this is big enough, let's bend and get in on this market before it eventually dies out. And as you can see, Minecraft has still run on for ever.
For a while, yeah. Yeah, and I think that's kind of the question, and the big thing is, I think that you're gonna struggle to get big developers to move over still yet, just because of the deals they probably have already structured and set up. I think a lot of them, you know, you would see a lot of exclusivity deals, whether it be with Microsoft or Sony or something of that nature. You know, the big thing is NFT still isn't ready for console, which I know is a very big, very, very big portion of the video game market.
Absolutely, not everyone can afford the
right.
task of having a good
think
quality
part of
PC
the
to actually
problem
play games.
is that we are still, you know, 10 years from NFTs being, you know, the main gaming, you know, place. Because I think in, you know, 10 years, phones will be able to have full capability of running all wallets and games and everything that needs to be done.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, we don't have this whole filter wall.
Right.
But I know that for like Ember Sword, I don't think will be mobile when it drops. I don't know that actually land play will be mobile if mobile applications dropped. You know what I mean? Like there's just certain things that you still need a computer for today.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a great filter for any game that doesn't have a huge utility for NFTs. If your market were to revolve around a market that could be easily digitalized, it's a great time to choose to do NFT because it doesn't really hurt you either way.
Right.
You know, your World of Warcraft, for example, would have been a great NFT, you know, game. But there's games that fit into it, and then there's games that just absolutely it would provide no benefit. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think we are going to end it on that comment, and I appreciate all of your insight today, Earnings. But that'll be the last question we get off today, because we have reached our hourly point. And as I said previously in episode 0, these will not be going any longer than an hour, because I am up at 8 a.m. and I tell you what, that is enough for me. And I'm sure you as well. So
it was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a great time. I think I learned quite a bit as well from your insights, and I'm sure everyone else here appreciates that. Hearing from you personally on a lot of the DGG questions that they had. So I definitely want to institute more time for question and answer at some point, and hopefully we can have you back and maybe do more of a question and answer from the chat at some point.
Yes,
because
for sure. Maybe we do a group session here. You have to get a couple more people on, get like a 4-person squad going. So
if we can get a group from the DGG Council, I think that would be excellent, and we can sort of like move into Axie chat territory. They need some more competition, in my opinion.
I definitely, I think if you can find a way to build some more content out of it, that you can provide some stable competition.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Earnings, for taking the time to meet with me this morning, and everyone who tuned in today. This video will be going live on YouTube as soon as I can get it uploaded.
Oh, good.
And we can share that to the DGG community so they can catch up on this.
Awesome.
So awesome. Thank you guys all for watching today. I really appreciate your comments and all of your questions for Earnings. And I will catch you in my next live stream, probably tomorrow or something. Yo, Dynamite, you just missed you just missed it. But
you just missed us.
You could watch it on YouTube once it's live, and we will get that shared. We'll get that out to Ernie and Dinah, and they can share it with the community. So thank you guys all for watching, and I will see you all in the next stream. Have a fantastic day.
See ya, chat.